Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about my Netgalley. I again did not do a Netgalley video in the month of October, but I have been doing really good this year, most months, spending a few minutes reading and writing reviews on Netgalley in order that I can get my feedback ratio up higher. The goal is 50% by the end of the year. We're in November and I'm currently at 39%. Every time a anticipated reads video comes out, I always request a lot of the books on my anticipated reads list, which is why my number has gone up since my last video about Netgalley. I think I ended that video at 41 or 42%, so I have a little bit of work to do. This is November. In the past, I have done my own little mini Netgalley November. I know a lot of other people participate in a Netgalley November readathon of sorts as well in order to work on these Netgalley goals before the end of the year. Some of you may be wondering, what on earth even is Netgalley? It is a site where you can request early release copies, digital copies of books. They now have audiobooks as well. And you can request to receive a digital copy of books before their release date in hopes that you will leave a review and help generate some buzz about these books. Netgalley recommends that you have a feedback ratio percentage of 80% or higher. I don't think I've ever had that high of a percentage. But my goal is to get to above 50 before the end of the year, which means I need to not request anymore, which I will not be requesting anymore. And I need to write a lot of reviews for books that I've already read. And that is what we're going to do today. I've recently read Second Story Bookshop by Denise Hunter. That was my first book completed in November. That was a Netgalley book. I also recently read Sense and Suitability by Pepper Basham, which was also a Netgalley book. The Nature of Disappearing by Kimmy Cunningham Grant I read in October. That was a Netgalley book. I DNF'd Gleanings by Neil Shusterman. That was a Netgalley book. So I have at least 4 that I've read or tried to read recently. So I'm going to start with those reviews and then we're going to take a look and see what other reviews I might be able to make. I'm hoping to spend about 45 minutes to an hour right now working on reviews. We'll see how many I get to. I may also work on this during nap time tomorrow when I'm at work nannying. So let's see how many we can get done. I would like to get my feedback ratio. Man, I would like to get it up to 45 today or like in this video. Might be more than I can, I might be biting off more than I can chew. So we'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and write a couple reviews. I'll come back on and share them with you, what I wrote, and we will double check my percentage at that point and then continue from there. All right, I have just written 2 reviews and yet I get to knock off 3 things because I had both the e-arc and the e-audio book for Sense and Suitability by Pepper Basham. And I just read this right at the end of October. I already talked about it in my October wrap up, but I really enjoyed Pepper Basham's first foray into Regency romance. I said that, and I said the nods to Jane Austen and her book Sense and Sensibility were delightful. I really enjoyed the banter and relationship between our 2 main characters, Emmy and Simon. Emmy is not looking forward to another season with her pushy Anne determined to see her wed. After being spurned and hurt a few years ago, her heart is very guarded. Simon is not the same man he was when he hurt Emmy. He is burdened with a new title and new responsibilities that have humbled and matured him. His young siblings were a highlight of the story for me. I loved the second chance / enemies to friends to more relationship between Emmy and Simon and look forward to reading more from Pepper Basham, hoping for a sequel starring Emmy's younger sister. And I also thought the audiobook was really well done as well. So I have written that, shared it to Goodreads, so I'm going to submit the review there. I am not really interested in connecting with the author. Did really like the narrator. I would purchase that for a friend, sure. Would you recommend it? Yes, I would definitely recommend it and submit. And I could do that as well for the ebook. And I also put at the end, like, thanks to Netgalley and Thomas Nelson, like the publisher and the author, for sharing the e-arc with me. So there we have it, 2 done. And then I also wrote a review for the Second Story Bookshop, which I just finished yesterday, maybe this morning. Yesterday, I think I finished it. This I also had as an audiobook through Netgalley. This one was another second chance romance. And I said, I didn't like this one quite as much as the first one, but I did give it 3.5 rounded up to 4. So it looks like they're both 4 stars. I said, I really enjoyed this second-chance romance story. Shelby is surprised to share the inheritance of her grandma's bookshop with her high school ex, who broke her heart when he left town years ago. The story is all about Shelby and Gray reuniting and rebuilding trust as they work together to save the bookshop from a load of debt. We learn of Gray's backstory and the horrible ways that the town treated him when he was young. I was drawn right into their story and the family drama surrounding it. I enjoyed some of the side characters, such as the loyal best friend / sister-in-law and the flirty older author, especially. There was an older author in there that was just a hoot. So cute. It wasn't very fast-paced, but was compelling all the way through. I was rooting for Gray the whole time. 3.5 stars rounded up to 4. And then thank you to Netgalley, Thomas Nelson, and Zondervan Fiction Audio for the ALC in exchange for my honest review. I will submit that. I've already linked my Goodreads account or my review. Liked the narrator, fine. Not interested in connecting with the author. I would probably purchase this for someone else. Sure. Submit opinions. Bum, ba, da, ba. Now that I've done 3, see if my number has gone up at all. Oh, we're at 40. Writing 3 reviews got me up 1 percentage point. Holy moly. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, I also have the Second Story Bookshop as an e-copy, and I had that as an e-copy and an audio, so I'll be able to do another one. What else have I finished? Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. I have read that, so I'm going to open up that one. Let's see what else I can get. A lot of these are actually on my shelves. Okay, there it is. Nature and Disappearing. I can give feedback for that one, as well as doing the other Second Story Bookshop one. Let me do those 3, and I will come back and we'll see if we go up 1% or 2%. Let's keep going. All right, we have done a couple more reviews. So I did go in and added the review for Second Story Bookshop, the e-arc, not the audiobook, but the digital arc. And then I just wrote one for The Nature of Disappearing by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. I don't want to say everything that I wrote in my review because this is one of my 5-star predictions. So I'm not going to tell you what I rated it. But I will say I had a lot of high hopes for this book because I loved the silent woods. And in many ways, I was not disappointed. In this one, we are transported to the woods and wilderness of Idaho, where we follow Emlyn, who works as a survival fishing guide. The whole story is from her perspective, but we go back in time to see what caused her to end up in this wilderness, separated from society. When a friend of hers goes missing, Emlyn joins her ex, Tyler, on a hunt to find her friend. The story focuses mainly on these relationships as the mystery slowly unfolds. And I wrote a little bit more than that, but I will stop there. And I have linked my Goodreads review, where I did not rate the book, but I did put that review. And then the other one that I wrote was for Vera Wong. Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. For this one, I said, while I think Vera in real life might get under my skin a little bit, I think on the page she's a delight to read. I think her age is a bit confusing as she's written with elderly characteristics, but is supposed to be in her 60s. I do think that this is true for both of the Vera Wong books. I think it's said in one of them that she's 61 or 62, but she comes across as much older in how she's written. Regardless, I appreciate that we got to see some of the characters from book 1 while also being introduced to a few more people that Vera brings under her wings. So found family is a big part of these books. When does she have time to make all that food? There are some heavy topics handled in this book, but still so much humor and heart. I didn't appreciate some of the foul language, but would read more of Vera's meddlesome antics for sure. Really enjoyed and gave it 4 stars. So that is Vera Wong. So I'm going to stop there for today. I got 6 reviews written. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and see if my percentage went up. I'm hoping for 42. Yes, it is 42%. Okay, so I do have some more reviews of things that I've read previously that I can write. I guess tomorrow during nap time while I'm at work, I will try to get a few more done and keep going till I get up to 45. How many more am I going to need to write? Let me guess right now. If I just did 3, I just did 6 and it brought me up 3%. Oh man, I need to go up 3 more percent. So do I need to do 6 more? I don't know if I have 6 more to do. I'm going to try to do 5 more tomorrow or even later tonight if I get around to it, but I need to take a break at the moment. Have other things that need to get done, but we will be back and I will try to write some more. Keep you posted. Okay, I have a book club starting in 5 minutes, but I just did do 3 more. I went and took out the trash and got up and moved my body for a minute, but then I came back and I just wanted to do a few more. So here we go. Real quick, I did a review for Orphans of the Tide by Struan Murray. This is a middle grade kind of dark gothic fantasy. And I said, what a unique and fun middle grade. The setting of this last city set on a mountain in the sea helped set the gothic and dark mood for this story. When a whale washes up on a rooftop and a boy comes out, most people are convinced that he is the enemy god come to drown the rest of the world. Ellie doesn't think that way and does her best to protect him. There are strong friendship themes in this fantastical novel, and I was left with some questions, but as it is the first in a series, that makes sense. Not a new favorite, but very creative and fun. 3.5 stars, rounded up to 4. Submit that one. Then I did write a review for Gleanings, even though I DNF'd after the first 4 or 5 stories. I just said I DNF'd this after the first few stories. I didn't care at all. One story was just so very strange about some kind of robot dog. It has been a long time since I read the original trilogy that I did really enjoy, and maybe that was part of the problem. I didn't feel like it added anything to the original work. I'll give it 1 star since I have to rate it. I don't like rating books that I DNF, but on Netgalley, you do have to give it a rating. But since I have to rate it, but I'm leaving it unrated on Goodreads. So sadly, that's getting a low star. Not gonna buy, not gonna recommend, do not want to connect with the author. And finally, I have my review for Mastering the Art of French Murder. And this was a nice one because I went into Goodreads and I had actually written something when I finished the book. So I kept it really short. Loved this murder mystery. It had great friendships, intense scenes, the hint of a future romance possibly, and wrapped up well for me. Such a fun time. Loved that Julia Childs was one of the characters, and it was a 4-star read. And that's all I'm going to say. That's what I had on my Goodreads. That's what I'm going to stick to. So I'll submit. Why isn't that one submitting? I think it's not long enough. I might have to add a little bit to that one. It's not long enough. So I will come back and we will check our score after my book club. Okay, my book club is over. So I'm back, even though it looks like the same time for you. Seconds later, I did change up the review just a little bit to add a bit more. I added that I loved the post-World War II setting and the descriptions of Paris and, of course, all the food. And then I changed my part about Julia Child. I said it was great that Julia Child was one of the characters, as the play on the title made me hope for. I had a fun time reading this cozy mystery and look forward to reading more from this author and this series. But why is it not allowing me to submit this review? I may have to refresh this page. Hold on. Okay, sweet. When I refreshed the page, it did say that my feedback was submitted. I don't know if it submitted it with the updated version or the older one. I don't really care. But I'm going to go now to my profile and check out my percentage. Let's hope for, it was 42 before. Let's hope for 43, 44. I just did 3 more though. 43. It only went up just the 1. But if I do 3 more, it should go up to 45 because that's what happened last time. I'm probably like 43.87. I don't know. But yeah, I'm pleased about that. I've gotten 6 reviews written today. I will try to do 3 more tomorrow, or I'm having sprints tonight. I may just knock them out tonight and get it over with. We shall see. I'm kind of in the mood for it, so we'll see. If I'm in this shirt in a second, you'll know it's still the same day. All right, as promised, it is now Monday and I am at work and little Nugget is sleeping in her bed. So I quickly hopped on my computer and wrote 3 more reviews. So let me tell you what I did. So the first one I did was Murder Road by Simone St. James. I read this in 2024. Actually, I think all 3 of these are 2024 reads for me. So last year. Murder Road is definitely not my normal kind of read, but for some reason I really enjoy Simone St. James's books. This is true. This one was a take on a hitchhiker's serial killer story, but make it ghosty. I thought the main characters made some dumb decisions here and there, but it added to the story, and I was definitely creeped out. Simone St. James' ability to write a book that can give me jump scares is amazing. I do think this one started a bit slow and could have been shorter, but overall, I really enjoyed reading it and hope to read everything Simone St. James has written, and I gave it 4 stars and posted my review on Goodreads. So that's 1. The second one was a DNF for me, Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I have one more Lynn Painter book on my shelves, I think better than the movies. I have not had good luck. I read The Do-Over by her, didn't care for it, and then this one I DNF'd at about 30%. So I always just give DNFs, if I read enough of it to write a review, 1 star on Netgalley, but I don't give it any stars on Goodreads. But here's what I say about Happily Never After. I don't think Lynn Painter is the author for me. The premise of Happily Never After sounded fun, but the execution was just not good. I didn't care for either main character or believe in their chemistry. I never like it when a rom-com has the characters hopping into bed so early in the story. The banter wasn't great, the story wasn't believable, and the characters drove me nuts. So this one was a DNF at about 30%. Giving it 1 star here on Netgalley, but no rating on Goodreads. And I think that the idea is one of the main characters is about to get married, but she finds out her husband or fiance has been cheating on her. So she hires somebody to oppose the wedding, like when they say, if anyone has any reason that these two should not get married. So they're like wedding dissenters, and then she kind of joins this guy in doing that for other people, and they make lots of money, and it's kind of ridiculous, and it sounded like it would be fun, but it was not a fun read. Okay, so I have saved my review, submit opinions. That is number 2. Then the third one I just did is for The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. This was my first Janice Hallett book. I read it in 2024 in the summer, and I can remember my reading experience of it, and it was just so unique and fun. I love how she writes her books. So this is what I say in my review. This was my first Janice Hallett book, and I was immediately invested in her unique style of writing using mixed media only. This one has email, phone messages, and transcripts of conversations. This story focused on a cult where most of the members died, a couple of teenagers and a baby disappeared, and now 18 years later, a couple of journalists, writers want to find the baby and write a kind of where are they now type article, and one wants to write a true crime book about it. I need to change that. I'm so intrigued by the way Hallett weaves the story together. I was drawn in trying to find out what was going on and was quite surprised by some of the twists and turns as we went along. It was suspenseful, surprising, and so creative. 4 stars from me. So I will submit that. Not a lot of detail because I read these 3 books a year ago or more, and so I don't have a lot of detail still in my brain about them. And honestly, I reread the summaries and read a few other people's reviews to just kind of refresh my mind a little bit before writing them. But those are done. Now we can hop over to my profile and see if I got to 45%. I'm not sure I have many more reviews to write of books that I've already read, because for the last few months I've been going in and writing a bunch of those reviews. I think in this video alone I wrote 9 in total, but only, I guess 4 of them were books that I read in October or DNF'd, and 5 of them were past ones. So I'm getting that number chipped down. 44. I'm at 44%. Okay, so I was hoping that would be 45. I was so hopeful. I have to go through my list and see if there's anything else that I have read already. All right, I did find 3 more that I have read and not written reviews for. This is kind of the problem. If I would just keep up with writing my reviews, I wouldn't have this issue, I don't think. But I'm going to go ahead and write 3 more reviews. There will be 12 in total in this video. It's going to be a longer one, I guess. But I found How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. I just read that a couple months ago, so I like that that one's a little bit more fresh on my mind. I also have Last Word to the Wise by Anne Claire, which is a cozy mystery that I read last winter, I believe. And then The Fairy Tale Life of Dorothy Gale, which I also read this year, but early in the year, I think. That's by Virginia Cantor. So let me go ahead and write these 3 reviews. I'll tell you what I wrote, and then we will check one more time, and I'm sure I will be 45 and maybe even 46. That would be awesome. Okay, perfect timing, because in a few minutes I need to get little Nugget up from her nap so that we can go to story time. But I did write 3 more reviews, so let me tell you about them. The Fairy Tale Life of Dorothy Gale, like I said, is by Virginia Cantra, and this is a modern retelling of The Wizard of Oz set in Ireland. So here's what I said about it. This modern retelling of Wizard of Oz didn't really work for me. We follow Dorothy D. Gale as she heads to college in Ireland. She befriends a few people who are meant to be the brainless Scarecrow, seemingly heartless Tin Man, and fiercely loyal but afraid Lion. Overall, the story was cute but not memorable. I enjoyed the friendships but didn't believe the romance. The pacing felt a little too slow for what the story was. Nothing much happened, but I did enjoy the self-discovery aspects and the baked goods. Yum. Overall, a bit forgettable but fun read. 3 stars. So that one can get submitted. All right, number 2 was The Last Word to the Wise, which is a cozy mystery. And this is the second in a series by Anne Clare. I think they, other than the 2 sisters being the main characters, it's called the Agatha Christie or Christie Bookshop Mysteries, I believe. And other than the 2 sisters being the center of the story, they are companions, so I'm going to read my review and it's not going to really spoil anything. But I enjoyed this second book in the Christie Bookshop series. It was cozy and had a fun plot. Our sisters at the center of the story help out their cousin as she wants to start up a dating service in town. They both agree, rather reluctantly, to be some of her guinea pigs with mixed results. But when Meg's date ends up dead, possibly murdered the next day, Meg is the prime suspect because she was the last one to see him. The whole family jumps in to help solve the mystery and clear Meg's name. It was a lighthearted story with strong family at the center. While it was a bit forgettable for me, I would recommend it to others who enjoy cozy mysteries. 3 stars. This is very typical of me to give cozies 3 stars. Usually I just don't remember them, and that is the case for this one as well. I feel that way about rom-coms as well. The final review for this vlog. I've written 12 reviews. I'm pretty proud of that. The last one is How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. I just read this in August, so it's pretty fresh on my mind. Once I reread the summary, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one pretty well. This dual timeline mystery was a fun ride. In the past timeline, we'd follow Frances and her friends. At a fair, they're each given a fortune, and Frances takes hers very seriously and is convinced it was real and that she will be murdered. It's kind of a bit of a run-on sentence there. She spends her life trying to figure out the different parts of the fortune and is very suspicious about everyone around her. It consumes her. In the current timeline, we start at the will reading where Frances's great niece, Annie, is tasked with solving her murder in order to earn the inheritance. She has to race against the others who received this same goal. Secrets abound, friendships are not what they seem, and the intrigue builds with each chapter. I was really invested in the story and had fun being suspicious of everyone. It definitely kept me turning pages, and I look forward to reading the next in the series. 4 stars. Submit that review. Here we go. Time to hop over to my profile. I don't want to look. 45. Oh, I was hoping it would go to 46, but it went to 45. That's okay. That's where I wanted to be ending this. I don't think I have very many more that I have read and not written reviews for. There might be a couple. So I need to read some books in order to get up to 50 before the end of the year. But as I was looking through my shelf of books waiting for feedback, which as of right now, there are 117 of them. But I did find a couple that are on my November TBR. There's a couple more mysteries that would be good to read in November. There's a Christmas holiday book, The Christmas Wager by Holly Cassidy. I could do that one as we get up towards the end of the year here. So there are no more books that I have read already and not written reviews for. That's a huge accomplishment that I've written all the reviews for books that I already have read. I might get there. I might get close. We shall see. I was really hoping that writing all my reviews would get me up there, but that's going to be it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed watching me write my reviews. You guys are my accountability partners in this, and I'm just glad that I've written reviews for everything that I've read now. So I don't have that list looming over my head anymore. I made it to 45% and I will not be requesting anything else before the end of the year. So I'm going to do my best to get to 50. We shall see. I would love to chat with you down in the comments about any of the books you saw me talking about in this video or anything else you'd like to chat about or Netgalley. Let's chat down there. I love connecting with you in the comments. And if you've made it to the end, but you're not feeling like you have a comment to add, can you put a colorful leaf? There's some colorful leaf, fall leaf emojis in the options there, because it is just gorgeous everywhere I drive. It's so, so beautiful these days. I think we are in the midst of our peak season right now because everything is stunning. I love it. So let's chat down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and spending a few minutes of your day with me. And I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.